What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always tell you to go? DJLittleRock.com. Let me say that one more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me. Yes, me at your next event. I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Speaking of the people need to be entertained, today on the program, I have Mikalyn Hay. Who's that? You're going to find out in the next few minutes. So stick around. This week's shows, I'll be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas on Friday night, my usual Friday night gig. It's a video dance party, karaoke jam, full bar, kitchens open, pool tables. In fact, they have a pool tournament on Friday nights that starts at 8 p.m. So if you want to make some money on a Friday night, or at least try your skill at pool while you're waiting to sing on the stage right next to me, I encourage you to check out the pool tournament. Now, if you don't want to get in the pool tournament, they got 10 diamond tables. They usually save at least one or two for the people that the casual pool players. Yeah, those folks. All right, always a good time at the Rab. Friday night, 8 p.m. until, I think we're going till at least 1 in the morning. Yeah, 1 in the a.m. And then on Saturday night, I'll be at the Choctaw VFW. Once again, video dance party, karaoke jam. Yes, and that's a big stage, big room. They got pool tables, full bar. Yeah, that place is always fun too. Good people. I always have a good time at the Rab in Conway. That's a nice big room. And then the Choctaw VFW in Choctaw, Arkansas. Yeah, good times this weekend. And of course, I'll be doing a lot of podcasting. So stick around for that. Stay tuned. All right, I think I've done enough intro. Let's get into it with Mikalyn Hay. Skyping. Oh, yeah. If you're just listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/KeysDan, or just look up RadioWhat.com on YouTube, and I'm sure you'll find it. And you'll get to see Mikalyn's face right next to mine. All right, let's Skype her. Skyping Mikalyn Hay now. All right.
Okay.
Pronounce your name.
Mikalyn.
Mikalyn. See, I was going to say
Yeah.
Mikalyn, and I'm sure that happens all the time.
All the time.
All the time. So Mikalyn, who came up with that?
My parents, they thought I was going to be a boy, basically, and then they loved the name Kalyn, but I was a girl, and they were like, okay, well, what's the girl version of that? And it's like a Celtic name, and I'm part Irish, so it just fit.
Oh, shoot. I should have worn my kilt. I have an Irish kilt sitting right there in the closet.
I just sold mine today.
Well, I also bought a utility kilt, and I got it, and I haven't even worn it. I haven't even taken it out of the package yet. It's been sitting there for, it's got to be 1 month. I haven't found a place where I want to wear it, which really, you can wear it anywhere. You can wear it anywhere, anytime, any place, for any function, any occasion. What other Irish things do you have? You said you just sold your kilt?
I had 2 kilts, but they were for my school uniform. So it wasn't really for traditional reasons. I don't know. We have some shamrock stuff around the house, stuff for my great grandma. So. Mm-hmm.
So what kind of schooling was it that you needed to have a uniform? I went to Catholic school and we had to have uniforms.
Yeah, me too. It was a Catholic school.
Catholic schools. St. Monica Catholic school in Miami, Florida was where I went. And I remember one year, I don't remember the exact whether it was blue one year and then it was green for part of the time. I went from second to sixth grade to Catholic school. Are you still going to Catholic school?
I graduated this year.
Mazel tov.
Yeah. So, were the hallways outside?
Yes.
It's the thing in Florida.
Yes, the hallways are outside. and that was
Oh my.
in the Catholic school. But in the public school that I went to after sixth grade, I went to seventh through through senior year in another school, Western High School and Pioneer Middle School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So just about a half hour up the street,
Yeah.
and but those were indoor. The hallways were inside. But the Catholic
Uh,
school, there was a church, and I remember going to mass, and there was some school. The part of the school was religious as well. Did you go your whole school life to Catholic school?
yeah, but there was no uniforms until grade 9. So I was in Catholic school. I was in Catholic French school, and then when I moved to Southern Ontario, the French education wasn't as good. So then it was just regular old Catholic school.
Where did you move from?
I moved from Sudbury, Ontario, which is in Northern Ontario.
Okay, see, I don't know geography, but I will look this up a little bit later and find out
Yeah,
where all this is. Ontario, is that East Coast?
it's eastern side.
Okay.
I'd say it's not quite East Coast, but it's on the eastern side.
So no ocean for you.
No ocean, just the Great Lakes.
Oh, well, great. How great are the lakes?
I mean, they're pretty like E. coli infested, but some of them are good.
I heard Erie was pretty eerie.
Yeah.
It lives
Yeah.
up to its name.
Should I put in my headphones?
If you'd like, it doesn't matter. I mean,
Okay.
if you can hear me better, yeah, it sounds real good to me. I notice you have the
Test.
AirPods. Whenever I see somebody wearing the AirPods, it looks like maybe somebody's got a straw coming out of their brain.
I love AirPods. I like they're so convenient.
Hmm?
And
Yeah,
I used to always be like, "Oh, they're so stupid." And then I got them and I was like, "Okay, never mind. I understand."
believe the hype. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
things like that I've been coming across that lately. My wait, okay, Mikalyn, Mikalyn,
Mikalyn.
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 See, I did that. I'm a
There you go.
dunce. Let me put the dunce cap on right now. Go sit in the corner. No, I want to go back to Catholic
All
school.
good.
I want to go back to Catholic school because I remember in Catholic school we had one nun that I remember. She was the principal of the school, and then I remember we had a priest. I remember, and every time I asked him any questions, it would be, "It's a mystery. It's a mystery." If there was
Oh my,
something he couldn't answer the question
yeah.
to, it's a mystery. But then I remember that I had
Yeah.
most of my instructors were secular instructors. And the one I remember the most was Mr. Aikman. He was from Africa, and he was, man, what a great teacher. Kind of reminded me of Lionel Richie in his looks.
Wow.
And in his mannerisms, he was always cool. He wore the traditional African garb, but he did teach, the Catholic uh, curriculum, both secular and religious teachings as well. Were you ingrained with a lot of religion? Were you brought up Catholics?
I was brought up Catholic. And like my parents are Catholic. Well, my mom is Catholic. My dad is Catholic. My grandparents and stuff are Catholic, but we didn't have any nuns at our school or anything like that. We just had teachers basically, and the Catholic education system. So
I get it. Okay. Yeah, my mom was Catholic-ish. Dad, I really
yeah,
didn't know him all that well. From what I understand, he's the Irish part, and I took that tradition from him. Mom is the Cuban part, so I got the Spanish part, the South Florida. Anybody
yeah.
from South Florida gets touched by the Latin community there, so I'm a piece of that, a product of that. But you have a little bit of French in you as well, or was that just something you were learning in school?
Yeah, so my grandma is French Canadian, and she's like fully French Canadian, so that's where I get that side of me.
Can you speak fully French?
I can speak a little bit of French, and if you plot me down in a French speaking community, I understand what's going on and I can try to communicate with you. I might not have the best luck. I'm not like totally bilingual, but I know a little bit.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with my Spanish. I know enough Spanish to where I was working on a Spanish bilingual radio station down in Miami, which
Mhm.
really that is the way to go if you're going to be trying to cater to the younger population in Miami, Florida. And I'm guessing the younger population maybe in Ontario as well. If you wanted to have a bilingual station where I think we had, well, I was the program director, so not I think I know we had two English songs and two Spanish songs, and that was our format.
Mhm.
So I imagine with the second or third generation, the young people that are there in Ontario, if you had two French and two English, that might go over well. Are there any kind of those radio stations in town?
Not where I live. Not in Southern Ontario. Southern Ontario is not very French speaking. It's all just like you take French in school and that's all you know. But in Northern Ontario, I know like majority, like so many of the smaller towns in Northern Ontario speak French. So I'm pretty sure that that would go over well there, but not here because nobody speaks it.
Well, Mikalyn Hay, don't lose your bilingualness. I've gotten so many jobs with knowing Spanish that I was not qualified for at all. You know,
Hmm.
oh, you speak Spanish pretty fluently? Yeah, come on in, come on in. But this is rocket science. I have no degree in that. Yeah, come on in, come on in. We need a translator. No, I got a job at the radio station for one, and in the hospital I was an EMT, but I was a new EMT when I applied for the job. But because I spoke Spanish, I got the job. So is it like that
Exactly.
with the French in Ontario, or is it more Quebec? Is Quebec pretty close, butted up against Ontario?
Quebec is very French. They are very proud of being French, and it's like a very French community. That place is French over English. And then there's a few other provinces that are also either fully bilingual, like New Brunswick is. Ontario, not as much. So definitely in Quebec, French is the first language of everyone there.
Now, where else have you been in the world in your young life? We're here to talk about your music primarily, the budding career that you have, and I know that I've been perusing your various social medias and especially your YouTube. It really showcases your talents as well. But
Thank you.
but wading through your YouTube, I see a lot of covers, but then I noticed that you lent your voice to like an electronica song, like you vocalized
Yeah.
on this song. I guess there was a DJ slash producer that you were working
Mhm.
with, and that one just set it off. Okay, because your covers are wonderful,
Thank you.
but that song, you work well with others. You have great vocalization. That project, was that a newer project, or was that one of the older ones?
So that all of the I have like quite a bit of EDM stuff that's either out or coming out. And the story behind that is it's a Brazilian record label that reached out to me and they asked if I had any songs that they could remix and I was like, yeah, for sure. I gave them a bunch of songs that were just kind of sitting like I wasn't doing too much with them. And then they ended up remixing those songs and putting them out with their label in Brazil and the songs are doing great.
That's a
So it's really exciting.
Xtro. Now, have you ever met Xtro?
He is actually my best friend.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, and you got to give
Yeah,
credit where
everyone I
credit is
live
due.
very close.
Where was that filmed? Because that studio looks wonderful. It looks all bathed in purple. I've just started doing gaming, and I think I need to put like a purple light behind me when I'm doing my streaming and gaming
Yeah.
videos. But that looks like a really nice studio. That hey, perhaps it can be a gaming studio. But is that his room?
The studio in the video is his basement.
Fantastic. I mean, that's
So,
something that people these days, oh, do I have to be signed for a record label? No, you don't. For about, $1,000 or so, you can get yourself a pretty good system. Now, from what I'm seeing here,
yeah,
he spent quite a bit more money, but you can get a good enough system to where you can record your voice, microphone, computer, mixing board. You can get a little bit of a demo. Do you have this kind of equipment in your house?
Yeah, I have like I'm not as into the production side, but I do like have stuff that I could film my own covers, make my own lives, make my own videos, do demos. But luckily for me, like I said, my best friend's a producer, so I tend to use him for that.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Now, did you know he was a producer before he's your best friend, or the best friend and then, oh, you're a producer too? How about that?
It's kind of a funny story. He found me on SoundCloud and asked me to or not top line, but sing his song, redo the vocals and sing it. So I met him, and he's a year older than me. We met. I recorded the song, thought that that would be that, and then he was like, "We can you film a video?" So I was like, "Of course." And he's actually also an amazing videographer. He had like his pictures featured in Canadian Geographic. Like he is a photographer also. He's really good at like everything he does. And he so I went down, we shot a music video after knowing each other for like 2 days, and it was like a 10-hour like shoot, and it was me, him, and his mom. And then we were like, maybe we should write a song together and just see how it goes. And we ended up writing a whole EP. And the first few writes were like so awkward, but then we started like warming up to each other, and he's my best friend now.
That's fantastic. It's great how people meet like that. Now, I, I have talked to a lot of people on this podcast, and I did talk to some Instagram models, some cosplayers, and like lady cosplayers. For some reason, they seem to marry photographers. Hmm.
Huh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Huh. It's funny how that works out. And you being,
Mhm.
a great vocalist. I mean, do you write any of the songs? Because I've seen that you play some instruments, at least piano. Do you write songs as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah. I write all my own music.
And how many songs
So
have you written, and when did that start happening? Was that in Catholic school?
that was in my early Catholic school days. I used to actually get in trouble for telling stories on the bus, and so I started writing down my stories. And I've always been a huge reader, and that's like something that I've loved forever. So I was like, I like singing, and I'm gonna be an author, so I'm gonna combine the two. And I wrote my first song like on paper when I was 7, and it's called Lollipop Land. I still have it somewhere. I don't know where it went, but that's kind of how I got started. And I'm lucky because my dad is super supportive. My parents are great, and they were like, okay. They put me in piano lessons when I was 5, so I was able to put my words to music. And they were like, all right, she's doing this, so we're gonna support her. And they got me into like the Songwriters Association of Canada. They got me all the tools I needed, so it was great. It was like an easy transition.
See, parents, who, if you're listening, support your children, whatever they want to do. Because right now, while you're young, in your 20s, in your teens, in your 20s, all the way up until about 30, you can do whatever you want. Fall down on your face. You will get back up again. You're made of rubber. You have Wolverine powers. You can try and fail things. So that's fantastic. Any creatives in the family? Mom, dad, brothers, sisters?
So it's actually kind of funny. My parents are both athletes. My dad is a world class triathlete. My mom was an Olympic qualifier runner. So they had kids, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, these kids are going to be D1, like amazing." My dad's 6'5", my mom's 5'7". They're like, "These kids are going to be monsters." First is me. I'm the oldest, and I'm like, I hate sports. I hate basketball. I want to do piano. Second comes my middle sister, who's just like mellow. She does play basketball, but she's just like kind of floats through it. And then my youngest sister does theater. So, um, to answer your question, not exactly. My mom she was in a band with her sisters growing up because of church. They did all the church songs. And then my dad also comes from a family that, like, at family events, like, they'd bust out the instruments and everyone would start singing, but there was never like really much emphasis on creativity in their lives, but sport was their big thing.
Man, yeah, you mentioned that
So,
you were telling stories on the school bus, and I could see if you start telling secular stories in a Catholic school, you might get in trouble for that. Yeah, okay, you
mm,
kind of glossed over that, but yeah, I was kind of making an image on that. But your parents, man, Olympic athletes. I mean, or qualifying athletes. I mean, did they try to push you into? Here's a ball. Here you go. First of all, they wanted to have
Yeah,
a boy, or they thought maybe they were going to have a boy named Kalyn. Okay, and then
three
here
girls.
comes Mikalyn, three girls with dad. This island of testosterone and a sea of estrogen. I mean, how did he take it? Was he trying to make you play catch ever?
Oh my god, like actually, I feel like it's more my mom that is the one that's like, why are you not an athlete? But like my mom's a basketball coach now. She coaches my sister's team, but I was put into soccer, swimming, basketball, any sport that I expressed an interest in, they'd just like jump on it. I'd probably hate it by the second round. I have zero hand-eye coordination. It sucks. It's so bad. But I actually did end up playing basketball for quite some time, and it kind of was crappy because my aunt was really, really big in Canadian basketball. So the second people found out that, oh my God, that's Christine Stapleton's niece, and they'd be like, I know your aunt. I'm like, well, don't expect much because I can't get it in the hoop type of thing. So it was a bit of a mess growing up.
Well, I mean, it sounds like your mom and dad were throwing you the tools, trying to give you the tools to see, hey, see what sticks. And, your aunt,
Yeah.
you had to live up to that expectation. Sounds like the town is it kind of a smaller town that you live in? Do people know each other?
Um everyone of my mom has four sisters, so they're all spread out. And then if you know one of the sisters, you know all of them. But like for things like basketball, the basketball community may be big, but it's also small. So like my aunt was well known, so then she knows all the coaches, and then the coaches put two and two together. And you're like, oh, look at this weird little giant. Like honestly, you can lead the horse to water, but I definitely did not drink.
Nope.
So
Well, that's all right. I mean, it sounds like the the people in that area are similar to I guess the music community here in Arkansas, and I guess the surrounding states, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, even Missouri just above, kind
yeah,
of, they all know each other. The people that play music around here. In fact, there's a place called TC's on Sunday night. They do a Sunday night jam where you have people from various bands coming together. Oh, the guitarist from that band is with the vocalist from that band and the drummer from that band. Oh, and I did see one of the videos where you had a drummer with you. Go ahead. I'd like to give credit where credit is due. Tell me about the drummer that was in that video. Do you remember?
I'm trying to think of which video it is, but it might have been the gig I got. Is it a more recent video?
Yeah, there was let's see, is a
Oh,
lady
you
a
know
lady
what?
drummer, Circles with Cena on drums.
Yes. Okay, so that is my friend Sina. She's German. She's from Germany. She reached out to me from over YouTube, and she is absolutely amazing. She gets those tracks out so fast. Her whole full-time job is YouTube and Patreon, and she's been amazing. Like it's so much fun to work with her. She's so professional, and so many of people that are my fans now actually came from her. So I love Sina. She's so talented.
And you've never met her in person.
Nope.
I
I want to go
love
to Germany one
Yeah, I
day, so
love that.
maybe I will. But
I love that the internet can be used for good now. I mean, it can be used for good as well as evil. I was talking to a gentleman in Australia, guitarist, and then he made a record with a bassist in the Middle East, and then his drummer is in Germany. Hey, maybe Germany has great drummers. It's possible. I think that might be a
yeah,
thing. But they put all their tracks together. Now, how did this video come about? I guess did you? Oh, did you sent her a video of yourself singing the song and then she put it together? You said she's good at that?
yeah. So her and her dad are kind of a team, and they put it together. And all they ask is they say you sing it in front of a black screen, and we will make the video. I'm like, awesome.
It is awesome. That's fantastic that you can You can do that. Yeah, okay, you're telling the people, you're teaching the people that they have creative outlets. If you don't have somebody in town, you could always reach out over the internet, and there it is. And but you now let's go back to your best friend Extro. He lives close to you in town. You
So I live in Guelph, which I do not expect you to know where that is.
Nope.
It's like a small city. And then Toronto is the bigger one that a lot of people know. So when I tell people where I'm from, I usually just say Toronto. But it is depending on the speed you're going and depending who you're driving with. For me and my dad, it's a 45-minute drive. For other people, it's an hour and a half. So it's too far, at least for me. Like, I don't know why it takes him so long to get to Guelph, but for me, it's like 45 minutes to an hour if traffic's good. And so I consider that close enough.
All right, Mikalyn, I'm guessing that your dad taught you how to drive.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time driving with him, so I've picked up on his driving habits. My mom, I was reading the text accidentally. It just popped up on my laptop screen of when my mom drove with me to Toronto, and she was like, she's driving 140 with one hand on the wheel. I can't do this. I was like,
Yeah,
oh God, gave my mom a heart attack.
140 kilometers per hour is about what,
Kilometer.
70 or maybe 80 miles an hour, somewhere around there. I'm
I
trying.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember my calculation. I know 120 is about 60. No, 100 is about 60 or so. So yeah, okay. You were driving pretty fast, but when you got to the location, did you turn to your mom and say, "But did you die?"
I said I was going the flow of traffic, and she said there was nobody behind or in front of you.
I told
So
I told a
I
police officer
have to.
one time when I was on the highway, I told a police officer, "Oh, I was keeping up with the flow of traffic." And he said, "Oh, there's no traffic around." I said, "You see how far ahead they are?"
Exactly. Mic drop. That's all you need to say.
I had to catch up.
Yeah,
All right, having a
I
good
get
time. I'm having a good time, Mikalyn. But no, really. Okay, let's go back. You say you started singing and writing at 7 years old. Was that? Did you sing the hymns in choir, or was this all listening to the radio? What were you doing at that time?
The first song that I ever sang live was at my school talent show, and it was Irish Lullaby. And that was like the first time I ever got up on stage, and then I just never really stopped. I mean, yeah, it was like that songs from the radio. I would write my own songs. They're usually pretty dumb. Oh, know what it was? It was a lot of ABBA, and I don't know if you remember SingStar on PlayStation. It was this old thing. Like, I don't think it's around anymore, but it's basically you can sing over covers of songs with the YouTube video playing in the background, and it would like you'd have to sing on pitch or else it would give you like mean faces and stuff. And I remember my mom one time being like, "You were flat." And I was like so mad. And I was like, I'm going to write my own song so that I will never be flat. Because that's how I thought it worked. At the time, I was like 7. And that was the beginning.
Mikalyn, I know that game, and I know you can cheat at that game. You can go ooh ah, and get like perfect score
Really.
on it. Did you do that? Did you ever do that?
No, I'm smart enough to figure that out.
I think I saw it on a TV show one time. It might have been Tina Fey or something like that. But she was saying, "Oh, you could beat this, ooh ah ooh ah," and it was just hitting the notes, right on pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, how old were you when you sang "Tura Lura Lura"? Was that 7 years
Oh my
old?
God. Song.
Oh,
So many people don't know that song when I talk about it. I was 5.
5 years old. How sweet is that? Oh my goodness, a 5-year old Mikalyn singing for the people. I mean, how many people were at the talent show? All the parents, all the kids?
Yeah, my school in Sudbury was smaller. I think it was like probably like 300 people would have been there. But I remember making my dad film it, and I was like, put it on YouTube. Like, I thought in my 5-year-old head, that I was gonna be famous, and I think he put it, like, on Google, like, Google videos or something because I never was able to find it on YouTube, but I was so happy with it, like,
I gotta find that. I
ridiculous.
gotta scrub. I mean, I know Google pretty much took a
Find it. If you
dump.
find it, send it to me.
No, yeah, Google pretty much
Yeah.
took a dump now. You know, they were trying to do some kind of a friend space, a MySpace, you know, Facebook type of thing, and they said, this is too hard. Well, let's scrap this." But you know, I all right, Steve Martin in a movie. Oh, what was it called? Like uh, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels sang a version of that song, and that was probably one of the coolest versions of it because he was pretending to be
Huh.
somebody else, and they said, "Oh, do you remember the song that you used to sing to your father?" And he was like, "No, I don't remember at all." And then all of a sudden, Steve Martin bust out with "Toora Loora Loora," you know, "Oh sweet daddy, don't you cry." Oh my goodness, I can imagine a 5 year
Oh
old
my god.
Mikalyn
Love
singing that. How did the people respond? How did you feel? My goodness, 5 years old. How sweet is that?
I felt great. I mean, I remember I closed the talent show and I thought I was so cool, and then I moved, like, literally, like, 2 months later, never came back. I'm gonna connect my headphones quickly in
Okay,
case there's still a delay because I've seen hearing one, so this
okay.
might make it worse, but we're gonna cross our fingers.
No, no delay at all. It was sounding really good. Yeah, it was sounding real good. And of course, now is when I lose your voice. The miracle of modern technology. You were sounding just fine before that.
Okay,
And you're
well,
back.
wait, what? Yep.
No, okay. Are you all right? That and I know there's a lot of ways that you can get on Skype. And for the people that are listening, we're using Skype, and it's a little clunky, but at least we get to see each other. And if you're listening to just the audio version of it, I encourage you to slip on over to my YouTube, and you will see the video version, so you can see Mikalyn's face right next to mine, right there. Yeah, as I'm pointing,
Perfect.
I'm actually pointing at you in my broadcast software.
I believe, yeah.
Yay! All right. So, man, oh, how sweet is that? So 5 years old, and you couldn't capitalize on that because you moved. Okay. But then you go to a new town, and you can rework yourself. You can redefine yourself. Being a new kid, it was. Did you find being a new kid a bad experience or a good experience? How did it present itself?
I've always been a very, like, extroverted social person, so I was able to kind of, like, get into the groove of being at a new school, like, pretty easily. And from what I remember, I really was fine with it. I mean, I had, like, a few bad days where I was like, I want to move back, but otherwise, it was pretty good.
Well, that's cool, but that's where you ended up spending the rest of your school career, and that's where you find yourself now, right?
Yeah.
Super. All right. So
Yeah.
growing up through the years, I mean, what was the first instrument that you started playing? Was it the parents sent you to piano lessons? That was your first foray into music playing. Now, how was that taking
Yeah.
lessons? You can actually read music? I talk to so many people on this podcast that they do not know how to read music at all. If they play guitar, it's using tabs. If they play piano, it's by ear, but you can actually read and write music. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, like, I've been taking it since I was 5, and then when we moved to Guelph, I started doing the RCM exams. I hated those. I hated those. I walked out of every single one crying because I didn't like. I was always like, I failed. That's it. But piano was my first instrument. I never actually did fail an RCM exam. I was just being dumb. And then a few months ago, I picked up guitar.
Well, for the morons like me, what's an RCM exam?
I don't know if it's American too. It's a Royal Conservatory of Music,
Yeah, it wouldn't be
and
here. It wouldn't be here, but there's an exam for it.
yeah,
Do you have to play music or do you have to answer questions or both?
It's like both from what I remember. You go in, you play your 3 or 4 pieces depending on what grade conservatory you're in, and then you do ear training, which I always loved, and then you do sight reading and rhythm reading, which was always the part that stressed me out the most because I used to teach myself everything by ear, even though I had the sheet music there. So I would pretend to my teachers that I was reading it. I'd go home, I'd listen to it a couple of times, and then I'd get it, come back to my lesson, and they'd think I like sight read it. But I never actually did until like way later on in piano when I discovered I can't avoid it. And so that was always the part of my exams that just I would look at the first 2 notes and then I'd be like, okay, we're just gonna go for it. And then
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well, Mikalyn,
they were
for
stressful.
me, not knowing how to play music, I have a full piano in my house. My 14-year-old daughter plays it, but and I have 3 guitars. I can play a couple of chords here and there, but nothing I would call professional. I'm so jealous. But from what I understand, when you learn how to play piano and you learn how to read the sheet music for a piano, that can lead you into every other instrument. Is that proper? Am I saying that right?
I've only tried guitar, but it has been great so far. I feel like I've picked up on it pretty fast because of piano, because I know what the chords sound like. And so it was weird going from playing an instrument for I don't even know how many years, like a really long time, to like being brand new and bad at an instrument. I was kind of like, I hate this, like I suck. But then I fell in love with it. I love guitar. I need to get better so that I can play what I'm hearing in my head.
I think I'm catching the type of personality that you are. You want to be great at things right away. You don't want to be a
Yeah.
failure at anything. And that's very telling about you. That tells me that whatever you do, you're going to strive to be the best at it. That's a good trait. It's a good quality. It could be a little frustrating at first, like learning math or learning writing or anything, how to do these things, but or even comedy or even broadcasting. I'm still learning. 51 years old. I've been doing this since 1986. I'm not the best broadcaster. I just have an idea of what good equipment is, and I like talking to people. And I'm talking to you, and I'm gonna, man. Every time I say your name, I have to
Got this.
think about it so much because
I think you can
Mikalyn,
do it.
Mikalyn, because Mikalyn.
Yes.
Okay, because I remember as a boy, if you were a boy, you'd be named Kalen, and that's how people are going to remember your name. And if I keep saying my Kalen, hey, people will remember your name. I'm going to drill it into their heads because I'm drilling it into my head.
Yeah, it's like kale vegetable, the leafy green that nobody really likes.
All right. Okay. So you say you weren't much of an athlete, but I mean, growing up with athletes, how were you eating? Because you stay, fit. You stay in a good shape. Was mom and dad teaching you how to eat properly and exercise, or how was that growing up on that side?
They were really like, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I should probably know this. I think my mom like studied kin or phys ed or something in university, so she like kind of has that sort of background. But my dad is the biggest sweet tooth. Like he has been making cookies like every other day as long as I remember. So their whole thing is like you can eat what you want if you just exercise, or you can eat what you want. Like like they were never really strict, which I'm glad because I've had like the experience to try lots of foods, and there's nights where we eat super healthy and then tonight we ate chicken nuggets and fries. So it's a nice balance.
Well, I remember when I was trying to be a firefighter and an EMT, I was running every day and I was exercising so much so I can eat whatever I want. So I'm with you on that side of the theory. But then if you stop exercising and you still remain eating what you want, this is what happens. This is what happens. You have to stay on that regiment, of exercising, and
COVID's
then you can pretty much eat
been a
what you want.
challenge.
I'm sorry, say it.
COVID's been a challenge for me because gyms are closed, and that was my main source of exercise. And now I'm just like, what? What do I do now?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody about that as well. You're gaining. like quarantine pounds. I think everybody is having that problem of trying to figure out how to exercise. There's a lot of people. I mean, well, me for sure. If I'm not going to a gym, I don't have that discipline to get on the treadmill, that's right there, or pick up those weights that are right there. If I don't have a gym that I'm going to specifically to go work out, yeah, I gain a few more lbs. I do. Eh,
100%. I feel like you get in a different mindset when you go to a gym. And for me, like, it's not like, I mean, I probably could if I trained, but right now I cannot run. I don't like it. It hurts my lungs. It hurts my ankle. I broke my ankle in grade 9. My parents were like, no, you didn't. It's fine. Just let it heal on its own. And then I rebroke it when I was in Peru last year. So then, like, I have a permanent cankle and it hurts when I run.
no, I
So that's
know. Okay, when I was in school, I was a swimmer, so I stayed in pretty good shape. But then after school, I went to college, to university, and I studied, broadcasting and certain other things, and psychology and what have you. And I started to gain the weight. But then I wanted to get into fire school and go to, and be a firefighter, so I ran. So I know that running is the only thing that tears it off of me. I've never been a good runner, like never had a good stride, but I know I've run 26 miles, I've run marathons. I run
yeah.
5 miles a day because I had that desire, that want to get this goal. And that's, if you want it, you get it. And right now, I guess I don't have that desire, that goal, but I see people that are in good shape and I go, man, I need to turn this Titanic around. And
Yeah. No,
eventually
I
I
feel
will.
that for sure.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so you started playing piano, and piano took you through quite a bit of your school. But when did you pick up the guitar? How long ago was that?
Last year.
Wow! And you feel like you're getting proficient enough to play it at least on videos?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I'll incorporate it into my lives sometimes, like whenever I feel like it. And I love my guitar teacher. He's great. So it's been a lot of fun learning for sure.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head. You're thanking teachers. Mom being a teacher, that's wonderful. Once she learned, how to become an Olympic finalist, and then she is in turn teaching the next generation on how. That's what we have to
Mm.
do. Is once we learn something, we teach others. And you're giving it up to your teacher, your piano teacher. I guess you didn't like it so much, but you fought with it a little bit, but now you realize that, hey, learning how to read music was, beneficial to what you want to do
It
for the
was
rest of your life.
like, that was the thing I did for the first few years I lived in Guelph. I was at a piano school that was very RCM based. And then I met my actual piano teacher and actual vocal coach. And they were amazing in helping teach me because they saw how I was. They saw like my strengths and my weaknesses. And then they catered, like, they made my weaknesses, they made it fun, they made it a challenge. And they are like, they're so important to me. They're two of the most important people in
Well,
my entire life. They've like impacted me so much.
we'll give credit where credit is due. Give them a shout out. Go ahead.
Ben and Melanie Jokela. I still can't pronounce their last name, and I've known them since I was for 10 years now. For 10 years.
I always like to give credit where credit is due. Definitely the people that help you on the way up. For people that think, "Oh, that guy is a star, that girl's a star," but there's a whole team of people. Usually, if once they get to that certain level, you need people helping you on the way up. Yes, anybody can crack open their
Yeah.
Facebook Live and play a song, something on that level, not a problem. But to actually produce a song, you need a best friend, an ex row. I totally forgot his name now.
Extra. You got it.
Extra. That's right. You need an extra. You need somebody in your corner that's helping you to make it bigger. Are you have you all right, since that 5-year-old Mikalyn was on stage in front of that talent show, what other shows have you done since then to help you build your will to be a performer?
Quite a few. I mean, I started gigging regularly when I was 11 years old, which was super great because it prepared me for like bigger gigs. So some of the bigger ones I've done was like I opened for two bigger Canadian artists, Tyler Shaw and Virginia de Vegas, and that was for a foundation, and it was so much fun. I've gotten into corporate gigs, which is always fun because you get to dress up and be all fancy and that type of thing. And I had a bigger showcase of my own, which was amazing. And then I had a gig that was to be super big and super fun. It was a cancer benefit, and then they kicked me out because I was underage, so that sucked. But I got to sing two of my songs.
Oh, wait, it's a cancer benefit. Anybody should be able to get into that.
Yeah, tell it to Patrick the bouncer. Oh my god, this guy was the worst.
Patrick.
Literally, that was me. That was me in front of Lee's Palace. I made my friends leave bad reviews on their page.
Oh no, no, no! Only on Patrick's page. You can't
Yeah, no,
sink
no,
somebody's business.
is mean.
What's that?
Patrick is mean. No, my one friend wrote Patrick is mean.
Okay, okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to sink somebody's business just because one employee was a problematic. I'm not
God, no,
one for
we only
leaving.
talked about Patrick. That was because he was super, like, it wasn't just us that had really bad experiences that night. We heard from other people, and it was really bad. He was very, very, like, what's the word? God complex mean.
Yes. It sounds like he was a very unsportsmanlike fellow. I'm sorry you had a
He
problem
was.
with him. I'm sorry to the people that they had problems with this person. I was a bouncer down in the Florida Keys, and I remember people used to come down to the Florida Keys as a destination and do ungodly things, just drink until they couldn't see anymore, and they'd say, "Oh, we're on vacation. We're having a good time." It was a destination place, and they would act a fool.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Oh my goodness. It-
The Florida
I
Keys.
and I but I always tried to stay even. Like was it Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse? I don't even know if you've ever seen that movie, but he was very even
Can't
keeled. What's that?
can't say I have seen it, but I recognize the actor's name.
Right, Patrick Swayze. He's long gone now. But certainly he had a movie called Roadhouse where he played a bouncer and he kept his cool even though people were acting a fool. All right. Well, I'm sorry that you had that problem. First of all, not being able to play in a charity gig. It's a charity gig. Come on, kids. You know, I,
Yeah.
I enjoy playing my charity gigs, and Relay for Life is definitely one. Anything to stomp out cancer. I hate that stuff. Don't want it.
Mm, yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I'm four square against it. All right, so
Mm,
you got family pushing you along, helping you out. You got sisters. One sister that's in the theater. I guess that's kind of cool. That kind of helps you through. Do you get any tips from the theater sister or the other sisters?
She is my youngest sister, and she likes to give me tips on like aesthetics and stuff. That's what she's into. So not as much in the theater part, just because it's two very different styles. But she's like very into like film aesthetics and camera aesthetics and making short videos. And so she always gives me tips in that aspect.
That's cool. Does she handle the camera sometimes?
Never for me, only for herself.
Oh, she's an influencer or aspiring to be an influencer. And then the other sister, what is
Hmm.
she into?
Pardon?
The middle sister, what's she into?
Oh, she does basketball. She's literally the most chill human ever. She's just like there. She's very go with the flow type of person.
Yeah, I like that. It's good to have somebody like that in your life. Kind of keeps you grounded. And then you being the extrovert, I guess I was the oldest of three. I had a half brother and a stepsister, so I had to guide them along a little bit. Now, do you find yourself guiding your sisters along, or are they pretty much different people now?
They have minds of their own. I try to guide them, but they don't always care about my advice. It's not even that they don't take my advice. They're just like, I don't care, which is fair enough. I mean, they're doing great so far. So, yeah.
I mean, no accolades. I mean, the first people that you tap on whenever you're trying to get a new project off the ground usually is your family. It's nice to have
Mm.
family that backs you up, and I know mom and dad for sure. You've already stated that they back you up, but your sisters, do you know that's the other people that are probably going to be with you for the rest of your life. The people that will back you up more often than not. It's good to have family that's tight. But do you guys get into trouble together, or do you go off and do things? What do you like to do for fun?
They definitely do. They're a lot closer than age than I am with them. I'm the oldest by, I think, 4 years. Um, and then they're only a year apart. So we're all super close. Like, that being said, we're all pretty close, but they do a lot of more stuff like together because both of their best friends are also sisters. So they'll do stuff in bigger groups, and I'm just like, I'm not going. Like,
Okay, I mean, besides music, what do you do with your besties and your pals? What do you get into?
I don't even know anymore because of COVID, but really just hanging out at each other's houses and like going around town. There's a lot of like lately what we've been doing is hitting a lot of the quarries and the swimming holes around the like Guelph and around the area and finding new places to go. Because, like I said, we're not close to any lakes. The Great Lakes are the closest. They're all minimum an hour drive, probably more. And so, like, we just try to find like swimming holes type of thing and go explore that.
Man, that's some good kid stuff right there. I remember in Fort Lauderdale, we had quarries. I lived about an hour away from the beach, more inland in Florida, but we had our share of quarries, and our parents always instilled in us that don't go swimming in a quarry. It's dangerous. Did you actually go swimming in a quarry?
Um, yeah, yeah. Sometimes one of them, my sisters just went to. There's like, but then the police have caught on. A lot of more people have been going, which sucks because now the police are onto it and they're showing up and it's trespassing, which fair enough. I guess it is. So you have to give them that. But I know of a few non-trespassing places that not many other people know of in my area, so I tend to go there. But I'd be scared of quarry diving in Florida because what if there's gators?
That's
I would
right.
be horrified.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. And I don't think I've ever swam in a quarry, but we did play in around quarries. I had an all-terrain vehicle, a three-wheeler, and my buddies had motorcycles. And I encourage, man, I'm so glad that you play outside. That's something that children aren't doing too often. They stay inside and they play on their phones and on their video games. And I'm one to talk. Now I'm getting back into video games, but that's a whole nother story. But people, I think the kids that are playing outside, any kids that grow up playing outside, are probably their immune systems are a whole lot better. So being in the time that we are, yeah, I've used gas station bathrooms. I think I'm pretty much immune to
Yeah.
any diseases, any COVID. Yeah, for
Oh
those that
God.
go ahead.
I was in Florida like right before COVID exploded because we got to Florida, we drove,
Oh,
and by the time we arrived, that was when social media just like flipped from nobody was talking about COVID to everyone was talking about COVID. And 3 days later, like 3 days into our trip, that was when they were like, borders are shutting down soon, blah, 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 blah. Like everything's going like closed. And we were like, oh my God, we have to drive back and finding a place to go to the bathroom, impossible.
absolutely, man. The truck drivers, I've been hearing stories about that they can't go in and wash their hands or use the restroom anywhere. So you was that a family trip? You drove down, I'm guessing I-95 all the way down. What part of Florida did you go to?
We went to Orlando, and
Disney.
then we went to Crystal Beach.
Did you go for Disney
So
World or Universal Studios? What were you going for?
that's the goal, but it closed the day after we got there. So I
Lame.
I'm so sad. All I've wanted my whole life was to go to Harry Potter World. This was finally my chance. I was finally going. I was so excited, and then it closed.
And that was the
So
first and that was the first time you went to Disney World.
third for me. It would have been the second for my sisters, but we didn't go. We went to Disney World. We didn't go to Universal when we went back in 2015.
Yeah.
So this was like we were going to go to Universal instead of Disney. It was going to be great, and then I was going to get to live out my Harry Potter dreams finally, and then it just didn't happen. So
Lame. Okay, I have a 14-year-old daughter. She's read all the Harry Potter books, and then she tried to start watching the movies, and the eyes, Harry Potter's eyes, took her right out of the film. She couldn't watch the movies. Have you read the books?
100 times over. Harry's eyes are supposed to be green,
And then Daniel Radcliffe, not
blue.
blue. And that little detail that I think is a small detail took her right out of the film. But what did you think of the film?
I loved the films, but I feel like I just love anything Harry Potter related. Do you know what your daughter's house sign is? Is she a Gryffindor? A Hufflepuff? You don't know?
Nope.
Okay,
I think
that's
I
okay.
saw half of the first movie. Now, one movie that I did check out recently, and it has changed my life in a major way, is Hamilton. How many times have you seen Hamilton?
Eh,
Do you have Disney Plus?
My sister does.
All right, let's end this podcast right now. Go watch Hamilton. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God, do I need to see it?
Oh, it's well, okay. Two schools of thought. All right. I've seen it. Now every song is in my head, running through my head. It's like Frozen for big kids. Okay. Every
Yeah,
song is oh yeah, it's in my head. I've seen it 4 times in 2 weeks, and I'm about to see it more.
watch it.
So yes,
Need.
and all the songs will be stuck in your head, and you will hate me forever and ever because I you should not have seen this film, but see this film. It's a wonderful film.
Yeah, I was in New York when it was on Broadway, but I was with my choir. So obviously budget's a little bit small to go to Hamilton on Broadway in prime season. So we went to go see Something Rotten, which is about Shakespeare, and it was hilarious. It was so funny.
Well, tell me about that. Your experiences with the theater, using this vocals that you have, these these wonderful vocals that you and I'm guessing. Okay, I'm guessing you said you've had this teacher that has taught you. How long have you been going to that teacher to kind of hone your skills?
10 years.
10 years. And do you
Mm.
feel I mean, do you have recordings from back then that you can listen back to and go, "Ooh, I have made progress." Was it worth it?
Oh, 100%, because she taught me so much about vocal technique that I 100% would not think about if she didn't instill it in me from such a young age. She taught me like about how to take proper care of your vocal cords, like when you're doing the wrong thing, how to feel it instantly, how to switch it. Like she was very, very big on technique. So it was amazing. Like it was so helpful.
Well, I get to DJ at karaoke shows almost every Friday night, and this Saturday I'll be doing another one on Saturday night. But and I listen to people sing, and karaoke shows they're hit and miss, but for the most part, people sound pretty good. I got the magic microphones, and I could put a little echo on them to make them sound more full. And I even have my own a list of songs from the '80s that I kind of stumble through, but I really have no technique. What is singing from your diaphragm, and how many octaves can you sing in? Because I mean, you're okay. I'm buttering your bread. You're amazing. Okay, yeah. But what skills have you learned to hone from going to a singing teacher?
Oh God, so much. Like I mean, it's hard to condense everything into like a few key things. Drop your okay, I need to pronounce this right. Drop your jaw. Tongue goes, yeah, exactly. Drop your jaw, tongue is relaxed but forward. I don't know. For the people who are listening, they won't be able to see this. And for the people that are watching, they might be grossed out. But like, I don't know if you can see, but my tongue is behind my front teeth. And then soft palate up, which your hard palate is what's behind your teeth. And then if you take your tongue and go back, you can feel where it changes. Your soft palate is that. And when you're singing or even when you're talking, it needs to be raised in order to have better technique. So that's just a few of the things. Thinking of your vocal cords, they're shaped really ugly. They're so disgusting, but they're very delicate. And when you're singing, you want the tips of your, like the top tip and the bottom tip of your vocal cords to be touching. And you only need to use a little bit. You don't need to slap your vocal cords. You don't want to slap your vocal cords.
I mean,
So that's just a little rundown.
what does that all do for you? Having the tongue up, or does that help air flow?
It provides the least amount of strain on your vocal cords possible, and you don't want any strain on your vocal cords because they are very delicate, and if you're using them super frequently, so like for you as a broadcaster and for me as a singer, we're obviously both using our voices quite a bit, and it's easy for your vocal cords, like any other muscle, to get tired out. So this way, if you're singing using proper technique and you're not overusing it, they're warmed up and you aren't slapping your vocal cords together, it'll maintain your voice for longer. You can sing better, you sound better, you can sing for longer periods of time, and your voice will age slower.
Well, I know I drink a lot of tea and I don't smoke. I've never smoked, and I think that that's helped to keep my voice in check. And I try not to yell. I don't yell. Even when I get kind of frustrated, I want to yell, but I don't yell.
Yeah,
Uh,
same way.
but what is your regimen? How often were you gigging before COVID-19 came at us? How often were you gigging in a year last year?
Like I would do like 4, 5 gigs a month, which doesn't sound like a lot,
That's
but
a
when you're a
lot.
full-time student, it was a lot.
Like, what kind of gigs? Are you going to clubs or restaurants and playing in the corner with a guitar or piano?
All of the above, house concerts, clubs, pubs, a lot of pubs, um, like coffee shops, just background noise at breweries, private events, corporate events. That was mainly what I was doing.
Excellent, excellent. And every wedding needs a good singer.
Mhm.
So yes, man, I love all of those events that you just mentioned. I enjoy being the DJ that's playing the music, but I'm so jealous of the people that actually play the music that I am playing, electronically on my two digital wheels of steel. You
I
know,
am so impressed by like DJs because you just have the ability to get everybody in the room like into a mood instantly and they love it, and like I feel like DJs can read a room so well. It's like unlike anyone else.
oh,
So
okay, you buttered
hats
my
off.
bread. I appreciate that a little bit, but certainly, having a live musician there that is also reading the crowd, getting the energy. There's always energy that flows back and forth. More people in the room, more energy comes at you. And I mean, as a performer, you got to feel good when you're sitting there and people are just like swaying along with the music. Are you playing a lot of covers or are you playing your own originals?
It really depends on how I'm feeling that day, like and the crowd, like you said, like you have to read them. So if they're not paying attention, I will do like a full set of originals because they're not paying attention anyway, and I'm just getting my songs out there. And for the people that do listen, they like it, then I can hear from them. But for covers, I like to do those quite often because people love songs that they recognize and they like knowing the song, hearing a different version of it. So that's why I love covers.
Well, you're giving people gems once again. Somebody who's learning, trying learning music and maybe wanting to make that their profession for the rest of their life. You could be a working musician. You can play covers and be in a party band and still have the desire that you want to have, play your own music. Like you go to a bar or a pub, I guess, a restaurant, and 80% they're playing covers, but somewhere in the middle of that set, you'll say, you'll ask, and usually the answer is yes. Hey, do you want to hear something original? And then
Yeah.
usually they're pretty receptive. I mean, when you play the originals, do you feel better? I mean, this is something that you've a baby that you've put into the world, and the response that you're getting. How do you feel when somebody says something, about your original song?
Feel very connected to them, and I feel very like in the moment, connected to the song as well. So I love doing originals, except for when, oh, and the other good thing, actually, not even except for when, if you mess up the words while doing an original, nobody's gonna know.
Never,
No.
never.
So especially if it's unreleased, like there's no way of anyone knowing. Like my dad will be like, "You switched up the words," and I'm like, "It's improv." Like, no, I just forgot.
Yeah, like La Bamba. The Mexicans sing La Bamba in many, many different ways. And I think there's songs that are made like that. But,
Yeah.
since that first song that you wrote and sang at 7 years old,
Hmm.
and I mean, those recordings are gone forever. You think your dad took that recording and put it on Google and it's gone?
It's gone.
Okay.
I wish I could. It.
But since that first song, I mean, I mean, do you write a poem first, or do you think of the melody first, or how do you write a song?
I am a very melody driven writer, so I like to start with um, a melody before I get into anything else, and that is usually how I write, with a melody and like one phrase. So that's usually how I go.
Oh, that is fantastic. So, how many original songs do you have in your back pocket, all produced and ready to go?
Produced and ready to go, I have about 10.
Wow,
Um, Not produced and just written and in the cycle, like I have hundreds. I don't even know. I forget half of them now.
but still, to have those ten little babies that you have out there in the world, where can people listen to those 10 out there?
Um, Actually, more than 10 now that I realize I can't do math, which I should have known, but they're Spotify, YouTube, my website. I have links on my website for even unreleased songs that you can listen to exclusively on my website. So that is www.mikalynmusic.com.
MikalynMusic.com. Now, for those that are watching the video, and of course, I'm going to put all this in the show notes, but if they're watching the video, your name is right there underneath your face. Mikalyn Hay, right there. So, what other social media do you want people to chase you around on?
Um, you can find me on any of the platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Mikalyn Music.
Have you branded Mikalyn Music for almost everything?
Yeah, pretty much
Excellent.
at this point. Yeah.
Well, that's the easy way to find you. Excellent. So look up Mikalyn Music, because I have Mikalyn Hay under there right now. But Mikalyn
Mhm.
Music, look that up everywhere. If you're, watching the video, hey, you get to see her right there. But yeah, but if you're listening to the audio, I'd appreciate you to get on your social media and chase her down right now. All right. So
Thank
uh, we're making a little, I guess, a time capsule of things that are happening today. We pretty much know how you got here. You've been pushed in this direction. You've strived to get in this direction from an early age, from a little baby Mikalyn singing "Doo-ra, loo-ra, loo-ra," and I know I'm not doing it right. People just went, "Ow, my ears hurt."
you. That was beautiful.
And but from then until now, after, all right, we're in the middle of this novel coronavirus, COVID-19, all right, pandemic. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. That we're stuck indoors primarily, and it hasn't. It's hit the musicians probably the hardest. How are you making it through? Are you doing any of these live takeovers? That's something that I just heard about very recently. Somebody took over my Facebook page, and I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
cool. So 3,000 extra fans for them, hopefully.
I've been doing a lot of takeovers, and those are my favorite because you get to meet new people and you get new song requests. And that's one of my favorite things because I like to know what people want to hear. So I love doing takeovers, but I'm actually really, really fortunate. Um, Canada has this thing called the Canada Summer Jobs Program, and they basically give out grants to like different companies, co-ops, whatever, to have summer job program that runs obviously for the duration of the summer. So I got a job with the Ontario Musicians Cooperative, and that is a like 30 hours a week full-time job watching learning about the industry, learning about your EPKs, bios, filing taxes as a musician, registering your business. So during the day, I am in workshops and I'm working with other artists who are in Ontario. And then during the night, they are live streaming. So I get paid to live stream a couple times a week on their channel.
I
So
think,
it
yeah, I think we're going to have some musicians moving to Canada just for that. My goodness, that's wonderful.
made
Yeah, you're learning. Some creatives have been messed up by the music business and the film industry, for that matter. Any entertainers have been messed up because they don't know the business side. You think, oh, sign here. I'm going to make you a star. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll sign there. And they've signed away all their rights, all their likenesses, all their merchandising, and maybe the company will give them just a little bit, even though you've done all the hard work. But you're learning that while you're making a living, keeping a roof over your head. That's beautiful.
amazing.
I know I'm not supposed to ask. How old a person are you?
I'm 18.
18 years old, and you've done so much already. I mean, are the parents gonna show you the door, get out the house, or
I'm actually moving out in September for school.
what?
So I'm showing myself the door, I guess.
What are you gonna be when you grow up? What are you studying in school?
I'm studying popular music. It's at a school in London, Ontario. It's called Western University. I'm studying Bachelor of Arts major in popular music studies.
I went to Western High School in Davie, Florida. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale. Go Western. Our unofficial class song was West End Girls by the
Oh,
Pet Shop Boys. And because it sounded like Western Girls, oh, okay,
yeah.
West, so yeah, you could probably introduce that. I want to hear a cover by Mikalyn Hay, Mikalyn music,
I
uh,
love that song.
West End
West
Girls. Yeah, and it's electronica, so Extro could help you.
exactly.
Fantastic. All right, I've taken a lot of your time, and I appreciate you so much for coming on the What Makes You Famous podcast, my little podcast, and hopefully you get some more viewers, some more listeners, some more people. Getting the word about you out there. Any other avenues? Oh, wait. So you're right off to school. Is it going to be? It's not going to be at home learning. It's not going to be distance learning, or it's going to be in
Ah,
person.
it's mixed. So I believe music students and nursing students can be in person, which is like, yes, a win for the music students finally. Um, so we're gonna be like doing mixed classes because the class sizes are pretty small, and just for tutorials, they can spread those out throughout the week. So I got my residence, and I feel super old, and yeah.
No, I'm hearing guidelines for people that are playing music. The scientists are getting into the gigs. No more than 30 minutes. If you're gonna wear, if you're a wind instrument, you should have a mask on with a little slit so you can play your wind instrument. I don't think any of these guidelines are going to be adhered to all that much, but stay vigilant. Keep yourself safe.
Hmm.
You know.
Exactly. No, I don't think I'll be back gigging in person for a really long time, which of course makes me sad. But, I have people in my family that are immunocompromised, and some of my best friends, their families are immunocompromised. So at the end of the day, I'll do anything I can to keep them safe. And if that means doing lives instead of actual in person lives, then that's fine by me.
Yeah, I'm back doing karaoke shows. I mean, wiping the mics after every singer.
Hmm.
The stage is 12 feet away from the nearest table. People are wearing masks as they come into the club. They can pull the mask down if they want to take a drink or have some food, but put the mask back up if you're going to walk around or interact with people. So stay vigilant. Keep safe.
Yeah. No, we're the same way right now. I think restaurants and stuff are open. Music isn't quite, but like tattoo parlors are open. I got a tattoo today.
What you get?
like this morning.
Wait. Can we
I
see it or no?
It's still wrapped. I'll show you so you can see the placement.
Oh my goodness, it's right there on the top of your back, right up on the neck. I mean, how much
Yeah,
does that
I'll
hurt?
show
Was
you
that the first
a
tattoo?
picture. Yeah, it is. It's my first tattoo.
Ah, what made you want to get a tattoo?
Um, I have a story behind it.
Please.
So my grandma, she basically raised me like the first like 5, 6 years of my life, and we've been super, super close. Like she's always like I call her all the time. And back in February, she was diagnosed with cancer. She had 3 types of cancer. It was mainly in her esophagus. So it progressed super fast, like faster than any of us had ever seen coming. And unfortunately, July 7th of this year, she just passed away. And it was it was like my first big loss, and it was somebody that was super, super close to me. And at my grandma's house, everywhere in every room, she has angels. She loves angels. They're everywhere. And she, throughout her whole battle with cancer, called her grandkids, so me and my sisters, my cousin, her guardian angels. So I got these wings for those of you. Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to
I
see
can see
them.
it.
They're on my Instagram, on the back of my neck, just to symbolize that she will always be with me, because she is one of the most selfless, amazing people that I ever know. And I know that if she was here, she'd be watching this podcast, because she watched every single thing of mine. So I know that she'd be watching, and I just kind of want a symbol that I want to be like her, and I want her with me for the rest of my life. So
You
that's the story behind the tattoo.
you are keeping your grandma forever and ever alive, forever
Mhm.
and ever. That is fantastic. That's how we keep the people alive, remembering them. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've wanted a yin yang in the middle of my back since I was 17 years old. I'm 51. You know what I have on my back? Nothing. Nada.
It
No
genuinely
tattoos.
did not hurt a bit. Like I was so worried it was gonna hurt, and it was fine. It's like mild discomfort. The worst part was having to stay in a position for 2 hours. Genuinely, that was the worst part.
At this point, I'm probably never going to get a tattoo, but I admire tattoos. I look at them. I think they're so cool. They're adorning. It's just and that tattoo in particular is as a symbol. It has meaning. It's keeping your grandma's memory alive forever.
Mhm.
That's fantastic. That was a nice tribute for her, and I think that's where we can wind down the podcast. Usually, I finish these things off, and I don't want this to be the last time we talk. As
No,
yeah,
either.
as time progresses and you start getting more things under your belt, I want to hear more about you as time progresses. But usually I finish these things off with last words for the people. And now these can be, words that you live by, something that you heard, as you were growing up, and something that you live by, or it could be whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Mikalyn Hay, last words for the people.
Oh God. Um, I'm so bad with this stuff. I guess whatever you want to do and whatever you're passionate about, go all in, because if and when you succeed, which you eventually will, it won't be like work for you. It'll be you've made your passion into something that you can do all the time. So those, I guess, are words that I live by and why I go with music. But before I leave, I just wanted to say a huge, huge thank you to you for having me on here. I love doing podcasts like this because it feels like I'm having like just a conversation with a friend and getting to know someone. So I would love to come back whenever you'll have me, because I had a lot of fun.
Well, there you have it, party people. Mikalyn Hay, Mikalyn Music. Yes, I believe she's branded that everywhere. Follow her, stalk that girl, find out more about her music. Yeah, that's what I like to do with these podcasts is learn more about the people before and now, how they became who they are. So now we've learned a little bit more about who Mikalyn was and now is and where she's going. My goodness, she's not stopping. This is the kind of person she is. Once she puts her mind to doing something, she wants to be the best at it. And, I know that's what I said, but then, she's going to school in September, going to university to learn more about popular music, not just, talking the talk. She's walking the walk. If you're going to do it right. Be the best. If you're going to do any job, be the best you can be at it. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Mikalyn, for being on the program, What Makes You Famous, and telling a little bit of your story, giving us a little idea. I look forward to hearing more from you in the near future. Yeah, excellent. All right, now I'm turning my attention to you. Yes, you, my loyal listener, my loyal viewer. If you would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.